Hi everybody, Refresh here. I'm going to be doing something a little crazy today. I drafted Conspiracy, Take the Crown, recently, and I wanted to share some gameplay of the deck that I drafted. And normally I would do this with one of these challenge decks from Theros so that I can just solo show you kind of how the game works in some ways. But Conspiracy is a multiplayer set, and it's meant to be drafted and played multiplayer. And so I felt like it wouldn't be quite the right environment if I just took this deck and played it against a single deck. And so what I've done here is I'm going to be playing this deck against all of these decks in a free-for-all. And that's going to create some interesting things. There is the possibility that I get knocked out of this game and the decks are going to auto-play against each other. And that's possible. It's probably the craziest thing I've done with Magic so far. So how this is going to work. It's a free-for-all, and it's the last deck standing that wins. We have the Face the Hydra deck here in medium difficulty with 3 Hydra heads. The Battle the Horde deck is going to turn on after 3 turns in medium difficulty, and we have Defeat a God deck here with 3 Rollicking Throngs at medium difficulty again. I myself am going to be using 3 hero cards, the Explorer to let me play 2 lands a turn, the Vanquisher to let me start with 8 cards, and the Harvester to let me draw and discard once a turn. Now, as you can see, these aren't really compatible for this kind of play, so I'm going to create some rules to facilitate gameplay with these side decks. First of all, normally they're just all playing as the single player in a head-to-head sort of mode, or even multiple players, there's just 2 sides, right? So I'm going to change how it works a little, and each of these 2 decks in particular, since they're attacking a single target, will use a die and roll the die to see who they hit. So it's going to be 1 and 2 is going to hit the person directly next to them. 3 and 4 is going to hit the person across from them. And then 5 and 6 is the person on the other side. So clockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And that's how Xenagos is going to decide who Xenagos is going to hit with their attacks. If like Xenagos is tapped and is attacking one person and the Revelers are all attacking, it's possible that we will have the Revelers attack a different person. And so the idea is that each deck, I'm going to try to make whatever decision it is that is the most optimal in terms of defeating the other decks. And that's what I'm going to try to do, including defeating me. Now, I'm going to automate this to try to keep out some level of cheating on my part in terms of the decision making, and so I'm automating this with the die in terms of who they attack. But it's still going to require some level of human decision making on my part, and you guys can call me out in the comments if you thought I was being too easy on myself so that I can survive. But I'm going to try to make the best decisions possible for these decks in order to help them to win. So that's how it's going to go. The player, me, will get priority if there's, for example, a choose type option. Like the Hydra deck has the ones where you destroy all the tapped creatures, or, everybody takes 5 damage or something like that. And in that case, it's going to come to me to make the decision. But generally, yeah, I'm going to use the die to determine who's being attacked. And then the idea is, for example, if Xenagos attacks the Hydra heads, he's going to attack whatever the strongest Hydra head is that he can defeat with his entire team, and then any additional members of the team that are also attacking will attack other Hydra heads that are in line until you can kill one. So that's if they roll a 3 or 4, and all these 3 Revelers are attacking as well as Xenagos in this turn. Then Xenagos will attack this Hydra head, these 3, and then Xenagos is going to kill one of these, so we're going to roll to see where he's going to send the next bunch, and it's going to the Hydra again, so the next 3 are going to attack this Hydra head. But say Xenagos' first roll is a 3 and he's attacking this Hydra head, and the next roll is, say, a 1, then this Rollicking Throng might attack me. And then the next roll is a 6, the next Rollicking Throng might attack the Horde. So that's kind of how Xenagos is going. The Horde will similarly choose to attack heads or Xenagos' creatures in a similar fashion. They'll just turn enough sideways based on the first roll to kill whatever I would think is the deadliest threat on the board, or that would be the most beneficial in terms of attacks for the Horde. And then with me, they're just attacking me to take down my life total. The Horde doesn't have blockers or creatures to kill per se, and so when Xenagos or the Hydra attacks the Horde, and the Hydra's going to hit everybody every turn, that's just how it works. When it attacks the Horde, it will just mill off top, and there's really not going to be a lot of defense against the Horde, and it's kind of going to be up to me to keep defenders up to get rid of the Horde's growing army. So it's going to be very complicated. It's going to be challenging, and I'm just going to have to take it step at a time and hopefully get this right. But here we go. Or you know what? Let's just roll. 1, 2, 3, 4. 5 and 6 will be ignored, but starting with me, 1, 2, 3, 4, and that'll be the very first player. Will be whichever one of these gets rolled. Okay, 5 and 6 is no. 6 is no. 3. So 1, 2, 3. The Horde is going first. I'm going to draw my cards. These other guys don't get to draw, but I do. Let's hope that I can survive this. Alright. So I have a whole bunch of lands, a Flame Slash, a Kiln Fiend, and an Omen Speaker. I think this is keepable. I think the Omen Speaker will make sure that I don't get too many more lands. And the Kiln Fiend is a way to dish out damage. So I'm going to keep this hand. I'm going to just put it down here so that we can see it. And hopefully I won't run out of room because this is going to be crazy. Alright, so the Horde goes first. They do not make an action on their first turn. It is now Xenagos' first turn. Xenagos will cast their first spell, which is Wild Mayonnaise. And then Xenagos stays put. Xenagos is being defensive. It is now my turn. I'm going to go ahead and harvest. So I'm going to draw a card at the end of Xenagos' turn. Draw a card, and then discard a card. And I don't think I need another mountain since I have a lot of lands as it is. So I'm going to then go on to my turn. Draw my regular card. And then I will play a mountain and an island. And then I think the next move is to... Well, okay, the question is, do I Kiln Fiend or do I Omen Speaker? I think I want to set up my draws, so I'm going to go ahead and play the Omen Speaker and scry 2. And I have the Illusionary Informant and the Pyretic Hunter. The Pyretic Hunter is a 6/6 because that's what I got it as during the draft. And the Illusionary Informant, well, I can play that sooner, but a flyer is not terribly good and a 1/3 is not all that impressive. And so I'm going to put this at the bottom and keep the Pyretic Hunter on top because by the time I draw it, I should be able to play it. Or not this by the time I draw it, but you know what I mean. Later, I should be able to play it and it'll be very good. So that is my play, and that is the end of my turn. And then it is now the Hydra's turn. So the Hydra's first move is to cast this spell. Noxious Hydra Breath deals 5 damage to each player or destroy each tapped non-head creature. So I get to decide what happens. And, well, I don't have any creatures to lose. There are no tapped creatures. And so I'd rather not take damage, even if these guys also don't take damage. And I'm going to have it choose to destroy each tapped non-head creature, which there are none. Okay. Now the Hydra, each of these 3 heads does 3 damage to these. So we mill 3 from the Horde deck. And this says each player draws a card. These decks do not draw cards, so they're not going to, but I get to draw a card. Hey look, Pyretic Hunter. What a surprise. And then Xenagos takes 3 damage. They're gonna hit probably... I think they're gonna just do 1 damage here to kill this, and then 2 will do nothing, because this is the most dangerous threat to the Hydra, because it can actually kill the Hydra's creatures. So the Wild Mayonnaise is gonna die. And then each player gains 3 life. I'm the only player that can gain life. I gain 3 life, but I lose it also to these heads. So I stay even. Hydra's turn ends. It is now the Horde's turn. Their second turn, they are still dormant. They're not going to do anything. So it is now Xenagos' second turn. Xenagos plays a card, which is the Theros Band Revelers. They're just a 4/4. They don't do anything right now. So they're just on the battlefield. I'm going to go ahead and harvest at the end of my turn. Or loot at the end of my turn using the harvester. Let's see, it's an island. I think I want to keep a second island. I think I'm going to ditch the second island actually. Because I only really need 2. Because I don't have a lot of blue spells in this deck. So, that's how that's going to go. And then it's going to be my turn. I'm going to do my regular draw. After I untap. And I get a Cloak Siren, which is not amazing, but it's something. Evasion works very poorly against the challenge decks because none of them can evade anything. So that's the downside. I'm going to try to have to do some damage to the Minotaurs because when they come out, it's going to be pretty bad. But it's a bit crazy because they might not hit me either. So I think my Omen Speaker is better on defense, so I'm going to keep that up for defense. I'm going to probably cast the Kiln Fiend, and then maybe Flame Slash the Revelers so that I can get the card off of it. But I'm going to keep this Flame Slash for next time, right? Because I want to be able to turn my Kiln Fiend sideways and do damage with it. So I'm going to cast the Kiln Fiend, and that'll be my play for the turn. And then I'm going to end my turn. It is now the Hydra's turn. They're going to play 1 card, which is another head. Now they have 4 heads. At the end of the Hydra's turn, it's going to do 4 damage to each player. So that's 4 damage to the Horde. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then 4 damage to Xenagos. And they're probably going to kill the Theros Brand Revelers because it's the biggest threat to its own survival. And then each player draws a card. That's just me, so it's a nice benefit to being human in this case. And then 4 damage to me, taking me to 16. And that is the end of the Hydra's turn. It is Minotaur's turn. I'm going to reveal the top 2 cards and we'll see what the Horde is going to do. There we go. Alright, whenever a Minotaur attacks this turn, it gains first strike and must be blocked if able. This is only really bad. It's not really bad for any of these guys. So we'll see who the Minotaur attacks with the Young Horn. 4. So 1, 2, 3, 4. They're attacking me. Minotaur attacks. It gains first strike and must be blocked, but it's just a 2/2. I'm going to block it with the Omen Speaker and call it a day. So no additional damage to me. And then it is going to be Xenagos' turn. Xenagos casts the first spell, and it is Impulsive Destruction. Each player may sacrifice an artifact or enchantment. Impulsive Destruction deals 3 damage to each player who didn't sacrifice a permanent this way. Well, nobody has artifacts or enchantments, so each player is going to be dealt 3 damage. 3 damage to me, hits me and takes me down to 13. 3 damage is going to hit one of these Hydra heads. The head is going to die. And that's going to take me up to 15. And then we reveal if any new heads replace it. No new heads replace it. And then 3 damage to the Horde knocks 2 or 3 cards off of its stack. Oh, thank you. Thank goodness that Karanos thing is gone. And that is the end of Xenagos' turn. I'm going to go ahead and loot again before my turn. Platinum Angel is pretty good in this deck, or for this purpose. I think at this point, I think Dismiss is probably the least useful because it's very reactive, and these decks are not like necessarily going to play things that I want to be reactive to, and also keeping 4 mana up is a lot of mana right now. So I'm going to get rid of Dismiss and keep the Platinum Angel because once I hit 7, it's going to be pretty hard to lose if I can cast it, and it stays on the battlefield. So there's that. It is now my turn. I'm going to untap. I'm going to draw. Got Divination. I believe the best play here is to play a mountain. So now I have 3 mountains. And then I'm going to, let's see. I don't really care to flame slash these non-threatening guys. I could turn on my Kiln Fiend. I think long term the most deadly is the Hydra because they can hit everybody. Whereas these guys can fight amongst themselves. But the Hydra's going to be hitting me every turn. And so I think I want to try to get rid of the Hydra. But I think I need to play the Pyretic Hunter because it's just too bomby not to, I think. I think the following turn I can turn on Divination to turn on the Kiln Fiend and maybe take down another head. But I want to be able to attack with the Pyretic Hunter. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to play the Pyretic Hunter. I'm going to withhold on attacking because I can't really kill anything. And then that is going to be the end of my turn. It is the Hydra's turn. The Hydra plays one card. It is the Snapping Fang head. At the end of the Hydra's end step, it deals 1 damage to each player. So it does 2 damage itself. And so we're all going to be taking a lot of damage this turn. It's the end of the Hydra's turn. We are taking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage each. 6 damage to the Horde. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. So the plundered statue means that everybody draws a card. That's just me. The altar of Mogus means that they sacrifice 2 Minotaurs. That's this Minotaur. And that's the end of the milling of the Horde. It is now Xenagos' turn. Or no, Xenagos will take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 damage. That will kill off 2 Rollicking Throngs. So, it's pretty good. And then I will take 6 damage and go to 9. Pretty precarious state. But the Hydra's doing pretty good work in killing things. And so now I think I kind of do need to start working on getting rid of it. It is the Horde's turn. The Horde will play its 2 cards, 2 spells. Whenever a Minotaur attacks this turn, it gains Death Touch until end of turn. It's pretty brutal. The one Minotaur is going to attack, and I will decide who it is attacking. With the roll of die. 4, that's me again. Can I really afford to take 2? I don't think I want to lose a guy, so I'm going to just take 2. And go to 7. There's a chance that I am knocked out of this game, which would be very sad as we watch the automatons fight each other, but sometimes this happens. Alright, the Minotaur's turn is over. It is now Xenagos' turn. Xenagos will cast a spell. Deals 4 damage to each player. Ouch. Okay. I'm down to 3. 4 damage takes out a Hydra head. A regular Hydra head. Which gives me 2 life to take me up to 5. But I'm going to have to kill some heads soon. Otherwise I'm really gonna die. So yeah, I gotta do that. And then the Horde takes 4. I think the Horde is the least scary of this bunch. Just because it's taking so much damage from its peers. And that is the end of Xenagos' turn. I'm going to loot before it is over, which gets me an island. I think I need to move towards Platinum Angel. I think the weakest body here is probably going to be the Cloaked Siren, because if I can dupe the Platinum Angel, that would put me in an incredible place. And I'm going to keep the island, because I could play 2 a turn, so it's okay. And now it's my turn. I will draw. Let's see what I get. Into the Void. Oh, I can get rid of 2 guys. I think I might have to do that. Okay, I'm gonna play the island. The most life available to me is going to come from attacking the Hydra. And Into the Void will remove 2. I could remove another guy too. I might take out the Rollicking Throng so that possibly like the Horde or Hydra can finish off Xenagos. But I have to get rid of that Snapping Fang head. In fact, I have to just hit the Hydra as hard as I can because it's going to be the most damage to me. And it could kill me next turn if I don't get rid of its as many heads as I possibly can. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to kill Hydra heads. I can use this to get rid of 2, and I can then attack the 3rd one with a Kiln Fiend to finish it off. I might as well also attack with the Pyretic Hunter to get rid of the Rollicking Throng, and then leave my Omen Speaker up for defense, and I can cast another Omen Speaker as well. So I think that's the right play here. So here we go. I'm going to tap 4 mana, and then cast Into the Void, returning 2 creatures, which will be these 2, which kills them. And that means that I get 6 life and draw 1 card, which takes me up to a much better feeling 11. And I get Repulse, which is great against these guys. The next thing we do is we see if there are any new heads. That's 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. No new heads. So the Hydra could be knocked out, depending on what happens with this last head and if a new head sprout. Now the Kiln Fiend is +3/+0 because of the Into the Void that I cast, so I'm going to send this at this Hydra head and the Pyretic Hunter at the Rollicking Throng. So I'm going to get rid of you, and I'm going to gain 2 life to take me to 13. Now it's possible that you're dead. The Rollicking Throng also dies. 1, nope, Hydra head survives. 2, that is thankfully not going to be cast. So the Hydra survives my attack, and Xenagos is down to just himself, so it's possible that one of these 2 can finish it off. Now I have 2 mana left. I'm going to go ahead and cast the other Omen Speaker because I just need some defense in case those Minotaurs come rolling in. And I also can set up my next draws by doing so. So let's scry 2. I have a Repulse and a Deceiver Exarch. These are both quite good, but I want a land to cast Platinum Angel just to put myself in a much safer position. Repulse can get me there thanks to the drawing of a card. Deceiver Exarch not so much, so I'm going to put the Deceiver Exarch at the bottom and keep the Repulse on top. And I believe that is the end of my turn. It is the Hydra's turn. The Hydra will cast the top spell. It is the Savage Vigor head. At the beginning of the Hydra's end step, it casts an additional card, so it's not going to be casting 2 a turn. This has got to die, because that's going to kill, that could potentially just wipe me and everybody else here out. So we are taking 1, 2, 3 damage at the end of the turn, but first the Hydra will cast 1 more card, which is this one. Tap up to 2 heads. They do not untap during the Hydra's next untap step, and the spell deals 5 damage to each player. So we're not taking the 3 damage from this, and these don't untap, but we all take 5 damage. So the Horde takes 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the Vitality Salve means that each player returns a creature from his or her graveyard to the battlefield. Do I even have a creature? I have a Cloaked Siren. So I'm returning the Cloaked Siren because it's the only card in my graveyard. This is going to be bad because the Hydra wants to win, and the Hydra's most obvious card to return from its graveyard to its battlefield is the Snapping Fang head, which is its strongest head. So that's pretty bad. But fortunately, the 3 of us have a chance to possibly kill it. Oh no, Xenagos is dead because Xenagos took 5 damage. So Xenagos is out actually. Because so damage happens before the effects after the damage, right? So this was on the stack where the damage hit him first and hit Xenagos simultaneously and also hit me, taking me to 8. I should mark that. But Xenagos himself took 5 damage before the trigger of this could happen. So Xenagos is out, beaten by the Hydra. And now it's just between me and the Hydra and Battle of the Horde. Now we're going to change this to 1 and 3 being me, and then 4, 5, and 6 being the Hydra for the Horde's attacks. But I get the feeling the Hydra might actually beat us, which is pretty bad. Fortunately, I have Repulse and I have ways of killing these guys, so I might be able to keep the Hydra down for a little bit. But then I could be backstabbed by the automated Horde, and anyway it goes, it's not a good thing. Alright, the Hydra's turn is complete, and it is now the Horde's turn. They're going to untap a guy, and they're going to play 2. We have Unquenchable Fury. They can't be blocked except by more than 2 creatures, and then Younghorn Minotaur. So we're going to roll this dice, and we'll see if it's attacking the Hydra or me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 is attacking the Hydra. It can only kill this head, and so that's what it's going to do. These two are going to turn sideways and kill the Hydra head, which makes my job a little easier. Also, when it dies, I gain 2 life, so I'm up to 10. But we might have more head sprouting, so let's see. 1, 2. Nope, no new heads. That's good, kind of. We're still in trouble here. And then it is the end of the Minotaur's turn. I'm gonna go ahead and loot again. So I know Repulse is here. Oh, it's Repulse. Well, I'm gonna get rid of Divination, because Divination is much less useful than the other spells I have going on. Because Repulse, like 2 of them, will kill both of the Hydra heads, which kind of need to happen. Alright, my turn. Of course, if I have Platinum Angel, I'm just going to cast that instead, because that's going to put me in the spot where I can't die. Or if I get a land. It is not a land, it is the Skyline Despot, which I cannot play, so I think I'm going to repulse both those heads, and maybe send the Cloaked Siren and the Kiln Fiend into the Minotaur. Yeah. Okay. So, tap all the lands. And repulse both heads. I draw 2 cards. One of which is an island, which I'm going to play right away. Both heads are gone, so I gain 8 life and draw 2 cards. Take me to 18. 1, 2, 3, 4. The Hydra survives with 1 head replacing the 2 that were lost. And oh, I get to draw 2 cards. 1, 2. Well, I got the Charmbreaker Devils, which is pretty good. And then in my attack step, I'm gonna, since I cast 2 repulses, this is at +6 +0, so that's a 7/2. So I'm gonna go ahead and attack the Minotaur and attack the Hydra. I'm gonna hit the Minotaur with the 7 and the Hydra with the 3. Hopefully I can finish off the Hydra. Okay. So the Minotaur takes 7. 1. And then it loses 7 more after with the Massacre Totem. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, that's a lot of Minotaurs that I went through. Then it loses 7 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, it's on its last legs here. I think I'm going to win this at this moment. The Hydra loses its 1 head, and I gain 2 life to go to 20. It's replaced by nothing. So the Hydra's out of the game. So it is just me and the Minotaur, and I think I have a pretty commanding board state here. So it looks pretty good. Let's see what the Minotaur can do. It is the Minotaur's turn. It untaps its 2 creatures. And then it plays 2 cards. The Younghorn and... whenever a Minotaur attacks this turn, it gets +2/+0 until end of turn, and then it destroys. So all these Minotaurs are attacking at +2/+0, and they are destroyed at the end of the turn. I think I have 20 life, and I think I can afford to go ahead and take 8 damage between these two, and I'll just block this one because the Hunter can eat it. Because I'm in a pretty good life state, and I think the creatures I need to finish it off next turn. So I'll block this one, it dies, and I'm taking 8 damage from these two, unblocked, to go to 12. And then the Minotaur's turn is over. I'm going to loot again. Before the end of my turn, I get a mountain. Now I have 7 lands. I don't want a Sulphurous Blast. Well, I guess I could keep it. It's not a bad way to finish off all the guys. Everything I have is so good, and I already have the 7 lands, so I guess I don't need the mountain at this point. I'll just cast 1 thing a turn. And Selfish Blast, I think, actually will finish off the Minotaur, because I don't think it has enough life left. Let's see how much it has. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So if I do 12 damage to the Minotaur, and then Sulphurous Blast, I'll take care of all the Younghorns. Well, let's see if it works. Alright, my turn. Okay, we'll play the island. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. That's 12 damage on the spot. So let's go ahead and attack with everything, because then it'll have nothing to cast. Right. So everybody attacks. So 3, 6, 3, 9, 10, 11, 12. Minotaur loses 12 cards. 1. And I gain 5 life. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I gain 10 life to take me up to 22. And now I just have to clear the rest of the Minotaurs off the field, which I can do with Sulphurous Blast, or I can just do it with Into the Void. So I'm going to cast this, I'm going to spend all these manas, play Into the Void, and that will kill off both Younghorns. And I survive. I come out the winner of this free-for-all against all 3 challenge decks. Go me! Thanks for watching, everybody. This was Conspiracy Draft Deck versus all 3 challenge decks in a free-for-all. Like if you enjoyed this video. If you'd like to see more crazy setups like this, let me know if you like this. Let me know what you thought of the game. If you thought that the rules I devised to make this work were fair. If you thought I made the right decisions on behalf of these challenge decks, and also what you thought of the deck. Obviously it was super powerful against these 3, especially since they weren't on one side, it was just each of them for themselves. Keep an eye out for more videos. I still have some Dark Ascension sealed deck play to put up in a bit. So that's what I have. Thanks for watching. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this, and I will see you next time.